Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph. It is 11:34. It's Wednesday, September 22nd.
Yep.
It's 11:34 Texas time. We're going to do this into the next day. It should be September 23rd.
Yeah.
Thursday. And we do a double shift here at YSGOAT. No one else does that. Right?
No. TCB, taking care of business. That's what we're all about.
Yeah. And also TCBY.
Yes, the country's best yogurt.
Is that around anymore? Does that exist?
No, I don't think so. That's funny.
There was one here years ago. They closed down. I'm just wondering if that chain is just dead.
Well, when I lived in Florida, TCBY is an American chain of frozen yogurt stores. It's one of the largest U.S. retailers of soft serve frozen yogurt, and there's apparently two in our general area.
So I was going to make a joke and say clearly it was not the country's best yogurt if it went out of business. I mean, you make a grand statement like that,
right?
It's like when Taco Bell doesn't say we're the best.
No,
what the fuck we're supposed to be.
Right? They're just like, look, it's 3 a.m. Where are you going to go?
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Where else will you get a smooth, refreshing Baja Blast? 3 a.m.
Ka-ching! Hey, you snuck in there.
Well, I would say
we're not getting paid by the Big Bell.
No, nor Big Yogurt. There's a TCBY kind of where I grew up, and it was amazingly popular for like a year or two, and then it was still there, and there were no like competitors around, but people just kind of fell out of love with frozen yogurt. I
think it goes in waves. Like when I lived in Chico, California, there was like a weird wave of like frozen yogurt places, and it was like around the whole country was happening, and the frozen yogurt places that existed early on when I first moved there, they were the ones that remained. All the fly-by nights, they just didn't have what it took. They were not the country's best yogurt.
And this is a weird little fact that was what the song "Fly By Night" by Rush was about. That wave of frozen.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly.
Yeah, go back and listen to the lyrics. "Fly By Night." He's a little hard to understand because he's Canadian, but they love frozen yogurt, and that was a song about.
It makes me think of that scene in Hot Shots Part 2, when Charlie Sheen's character dips his hands in frozen yogurt toppings. Yeah. Okay, we can just move on. This is nothing. None of any of the past 5 or 20 minutes or half hour we were talking. I don't know how long we were talking for already. Has anything to do with what we're going to talk about today. What are we talking about today, Joseph?
Well, it actually is because like it has been recently. It's a batch of pretty serious topics. We're going to start talking about the big crime story that had happened over the I guess it unfolded over the last week. The woman's name was Gabby Petito, I think. I hope I'm saying that right. And there's a lot of weirdness with the case. It's a real tragic case, and you and I had kind of talked about it a little bit beforehand. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the unfolding abortion rights crisis.
Well, what about the other cases in Wyoming? We're going to talk
when we talk about it, it is interesting. Like, it's weird to see that case garner this amount of attention, which it certainly should garner a lot of attention, but to contrast it with, there were like 700 Native women that went missing last year in Wyoming, same state. And I don't remember hearing about any of them, and
well, we'll get into that more. Yeah. Okay.
We're talking about the unfolding abortion rights crisis. I don't even know what to call it, but I guess it's like
I would call it just an attack on
women and
attack on women's health care.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably as good a way to put it as any. And within that, we're going to talk about like
Body
Susan
autonomy, attack on
Collins,
women's body autonomy.
body autonomy. It's
Oh yeah, Susan Collins. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yep. And
that
now,
thing.
just like most people predicted, once Texas made it a law, a lot of other states are just literally going to cut and paste that law and ram it through their own legislatures. And Florida did that. Florida did that over the last day or two. And then there's a lawsuit. A disbarred attorney from Arkansas.
Yeah, I heard about this.
Yeah,
that's like, and it's like he's not even anti-choice. No. He's trying to like, what he claims. Well, I think he wants that $10,000. Isn't he in jail or something? Supposedly?
I don't know if he's in jail, but we'll talk about that when we talk about that topic. But that's an interesting thing. Then we're going to talk about, I guess, the Texas government race for the Texas governorship in general, kind of briefly. We're going to go from there and talk about the coronavirus stuff that's been going on. It's always evolving. And then I think we're going to talk about election reform. And I don't know how long we'll spend on that, because that's something that you can either spend a minute on or a year on, but it's all kind of leading up to that. And then we have
include that video I shared of you, Ted Cruz.
Yeah, that was a great video.
Texas thing, and everyone of them telling him, of course, the law is racist, and he was like, "How's it racist?"
Well, yeah, I have some thoughts about that. I thought the one professor, the first one, brought up a great point, and she said it's super unhelpful to talk about these things as if they're one thing, and that always bugged me. It's like I've always had to, like, voter ID is not necessarily racist per se, like the notion that you would have to prove who you are.
I mean, it's to me, I don't think it's a big deal to like have some kind of ID, but it's just, and we'll get into it more when we talk about it, but like it's the motive behind it is racist.
Well, it's
like it depends on, like, you need an ID to get like beer, you know what I mean? You need an ID, but then again, you should also have to have an ID to get a gun. You should have to have ID to get, like, it's like, again, you need to show your ID. It's like those morons who are going nuts about COVID passports, and it's like, why? You have to show a license. What's the big fucking deal? I don't see it the big deal. If you're asked to like show your COVID passport or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care.
Well,
I got vaccinated. It's not a big deal to me.
It's like if I say we're going to do voter ID, I think most people come to that with like a notion of like, okay, that's a good idea. But if I notice that
it's being used as a poll tax.
Yeah. If I notice that 90% of white voters have an ID and 70% of persons of color have an ID or an acceptable ID, and then I tailor the law to only accept certain types of ID. Like, I'm not going to accept a student ID issued by a state college. I'm not going to accept that, even though I'll accept a military ID, or I'll accept.
You're right. It's how it's designed. And if you look into it more, and you realize, like, okay, no, this is a specific attack on a group of people.
Right.
Let's say that. I mean, I guess we kind of talked about it. we'll save it more when we get into it.
And then we have actually 4 pop culture items to talk about. None of them for too long, but we're gonna talk about Malignant, the new Star Wars Visions, Marvel's What If, and a Korean show we both watched called Squid Game.
Yeah, that show was awesome.
It was.
If you like Battle Royale, Snowpiercer, fucking just like you said, you brought up The Cube, any of those type of escape room type movies, survival type movies.
Yeah.
This is definitely worth checking out. It just premiered on Netflix. It's fucking violent as shit.
It is.
It's super violent. Highly recommend it, but we'll talk about it in the end. Okay, so we're gonna start with what?
The girl. The young woman, Gabby Petito. I think she was 22. She's a woman.
I'll be honest with you. I've kind of I don't get really fascinated by these, like, I've never ever really been fascinated by these, like,
true crime,
like specific, especially post-COVID when like 700,000 Americans have died. It sounds awful, like one life versus like but all this hyper focus, the media will focus on this one person.
Right.
And you have people dropping dead all the time. There's people getting killed all the time. There's murders there, and so I really have no fucking clue. Now the thing is, it's from what I do know about it, it's fucked up.
Oh yeah.
But another story surfaced in Miami where it was like 750 or something. Native American women have like went missing, presumed dead. Have they? Is this like? Was this recent or is it like over decades? They're talking about it.
For the 700. No, I heard that number was like over the last year or so.
That's insane.
To be fair, that could be some, like, they were reported missing in 2019 and they're still missing. I mean, it could be an aggregate over.
Still bad.
It's still, yeah. I know a little bit more about this story only because the couple happened to be from Northport, Florida, which is not too far from where I used to live in Florida.
Potato.
Yeah.
What's her name? What was the
name? Gabby Petito.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah. That's so awful. Potato.
It's not potato. But the guy,
what's
his parents.
What?
But no, his family still lives in Northport. So the deal basically, and I could be getting some of this a little wrong because I don't know the whole. They apparently had a YouTube channel and they were kind of YouTube popular to some extent, and their shtick was that they were getting in a van and they were driving across America and filming it. And as it turns out, the long story short, the girl went missing. The fiance came home, was like, I don't know what happened to her, and then they found her body in Wyoming, where they were last seen camping, and they found her body and it was her. And then the husband, the fiance, disappeared. And
he's gone. Like,
yeah, he's gone.
Oh, gone. Even right now.
Right. And there's
all this what do you call it? All this exposure about this story that's like.
Well, I guess what happened is he came back and they started investigating. But at that point, for all they knew, this woman was just vanished. She left. And you and I talked a little bit before we started recording. I said I used to work for the state in Florida, and sometimes people in bad relationships, they just leave and they intentionally don't want to be found. They got an abusive partner, they leave, and they don't leave a fucking trail of breadcrumbs. They're like, I want to be gone. So the cops never placed this guy under hardcore surveillance. And at some point he said, hey, Mom, Dad, I'm going camping. And he left with a backpack. He went into this place called Carlton Reserve up near Venice. And there's a biologist on TV today saying, like, if he really did go there, he's dead by now. It's like incredibly inhospitable. Florida on a good day will kill you. And this place is like a rough.
Like, what is it?
Well, it's a swampland, and there's like no drinkable water. And it's filled with bugs, like mosquitoes and all sorts of shit.
Also lives there.
There's like 4 or 5 different kinds of. There's a bunch of poisonous snakes that live there. There's like, just alligators and random shit. I mean, like it's a nasty place. You wouldn't last long. And the guy was like, if you did find some fresh water, it'd be filled with tannins from the leached branches of the trees, which would give you loose bowels, and like it sounded horrible. So anyway, a couple interesting things.
Nothing gets the day going than
right.
Loose bowels.
Well, you had said when we were deciding whether or not we were going to talk about this, you had said, and rightfully so, that like it's tough because this woman died, and that's terribly sad.
That's not what I said. Don't be dare.
Well, it was
kidding. That's exactly. No, I said that like the one thing I've noticed with this whole thing, and like I said, you know way more about it than I do.
Yeah.
But I go on Twitter a lot and I see people like leave comments, and one of the I started hearing a story about the over 700 women that went missing Native American women that went missing. So there's a lot of these comparisons of like, well, why is there media focusing on Gabby
Petito?
dead, Petito, who passed, who was possibly murdered.
Yeah, very likely.
And not focusing on these women. Well, one, it's just, I mean, you know, this is the United States, and this country's racist as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one thing. It just is. It has a it's just a societal thing. It's not. It just is. Also, you know, the media is good at being that's racist too, and knowing it's a product. And like they keep talking about it. It's so weird. It makes me. It's almost like this whole Petito thing is like a throwback to the 90s, where like you would hear about like the Menendez brothers.
Yeah.
And, the Ramsey, was her name?
JonBenet Ramsey.
Yeah, who was the little girl that was probably. Did they say who killed her? Would they say the parents? Or
I don't think they ever definitively did. I think if it did, it was like pop culturally decided, you know, in like a what if type of deal, you know.
Yeah.
Remember when O.J. Simpson wrote like "What if I did it" or something?
Yeah.
Like.
But I mean, like, it was such a focus, and it was like weird because I used to hate seeing these things. And I'm like, there's so much bad shit happening to people every day. There's so many people getting killed every day. But for some reason, once in a while, you get these like the media is hyper focusing on this one woman. But the thing is, she's fucking dead. And it's weird. It's like, I didn't say anything on Twitter because I cannot get the words out correctly, and I don't even want to hear it. But I see people like, they're making this comparison to this, like they're trying to like do this thing where it's like these poor women that went missing or are dead. We don't know what happened to them. The high number of Native American women that were killed in the same state. We don't know what happened to them. Is it like, it's like this bizarre like this white privilege thing, but like the woman is dead. It's not like Petite is like, oh yeah, I'm lambasting in fame and glory.
Right.
No, she was killed. It's not her fault. She doesn't like, none of this is. That's why it's such a bizarre. The whole thing is bizarre.
It is.
I think you can have the story at the same time as you can have the 700 women that were killed. I think it'd be good to get some names, and we could find out who these people were that were killed. That would help get the word out more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go tweet and say, well, what about the 700 women that were killed? That's like, yeah, what about them? I mean, like, that's awful. We should look into that. I don't like the hyper focus though on this one lady that was young girl that was killed too.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that from like a world perspective, like you have families of people, families of girls or women who went missing, and they are like, well, what about our story? You know, I mean, I get that that's a thing, but there's a secondary weirdness to this in that and it's a eerie as hell video, obviously, particularly given what we know now, where the cops pulled him over for some reason. And
are you talking about Petito?
The Petito and the fiance, and she was crying, and you could see her on the video. She's like really upset, emotionally upset. And the guy is just sort of laughing and in a good mood and trying to like chum up with the cops and whatever. And the cops stop him, and and like you can see the guy gaslighting in real life, you know, in real time. He's like, you know, she just gets a little emotional and she doesn't know what she's doing. And the girl's just like, you just like, now knowing what you know, you just look at her and you're like, Jesus, like this is terrifying. And then the cops say something to the effect of like, yeah, I know how it is. My ex-wife is like that or whatever.
I think I heard about this.
And it's like now you've shifted from, it's like, oh, well, this is just getting attention because it's a white girl. Now it's like an all girl story. Now it's like, this is maybe those cops did go investigate some of those 700 deaths, and this is what happened, and they didn't happen to film it or whatever. Maybe a lot of those cops went off and said, oh yeah, this type of girl is always like this. They just go off, and I mean, like now it's not a media problem. Now it's like a cop problem. And it's like
that's a whole other situation in itself.
A whole other thing.
Will handle that well, right?
Right. So like that's, I think, why this story is so interesting, is because it's a media problem. Media loves, pretty white girls that die tragically. I mean, that's been a media fixation forever. But it's also now a bad cop story, and a male, a young male, white male rage problem. It's like, it's a lot of
live song.
Yeah.
White male rage, white male.
But it's like a lot of little stories together happening, and it's like, well, why wasn't this guy like under better surveillance? It's a policing issue. So that's I think the interesting thing about this is it's a couple different things kind of all together. And then it's also like that YouTube culture, like a lot of people, I probably more on TikTok, are like filming their lives, and it's like
YouTube, social media, like these people, they want to be influencers.
Yes.
And like it's weird. Like I use these things a lot, but like I really interject my, like, it's fun. I'll post in my Instagram, like side of my work, I'll post like political art, right?
Right.
It's very rare you ever see me in anything.
Yeah. Like, there's a boundary there.
Like I don't walk around and film myself like, hey, it's your boy Rob. Like I don't really, like, I see a lot of artists like they bring themselves into it. And some people like that shit. I personally, no one wants to see me. I'm old. I'm gonna be 44 in like
5 minutes. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on the clock.
Oh my god. I'm gonna be 44. Like, but and the joke is like, I can't even say like, oh, I'm going to be old then. I was considered old 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, in theory, but like, these young people do it. Like, and then you get these like weird, like Roger my son used to watch these videos of these families.
Yep. Yeah, my daughter did too.
Like, do we suck? Stop watching these videos of these horrible, like weird families. I'm like, do you want like some brothers and sisters?
Well, that's it. I looked over at my daughter once, Pixie, and she's watching a family eat breakfast on YouTube as we're eating breakfast, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what the fuck is going on here? I mean, like, you
want me to get some more, like, just invite some people over?
Do I need to eat breakfast more like engagingly, or just like?
No, it was very.
What about this breakfast isn't doing it?
But these people would post their like, and they're all like bizarre, and it's funny. A lot of these people that you're talking about, the type of personality that they are, those are the people that ended up in QAnon.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well,
like those type of like weird, like self-help, self-aware, like health type thing, or like lifestyle. And these people like post, everyone, like some of these people are bloggers. They want to like, and they're a dime a dozen. There's like a million of them. Yeah. Not to say that I'm not a dime a dozen when it comes to art or like that, but I'm just saying, like, I just see that type of stuff, and it's like a whole other world. I'm not part of that. It's like it's a part of social media that I'm so removed from, because the way social media works with, like, if you don't interact with it, you don't really see it.
Well, we talked about that a little bit last week, where we said that some of the virality of these anti-vax clips, that's the point. They go to the school board to cause a scene and film it and put it on YouTube. And at some point, what is that?
Well, they want to blow up among their little bubble or big bubble.
Yeah.
Like, it consists of millions of people.
But
I'm saying, like, I'm so removed from this, like, type of weird, like, culture that these people, the girl who unfortunately was killed, right, that they're trying to be part of. The sad reality is, I'm probably the niche of social media. They're more than what social media really is. Where people are like posting lifestyle blogs, like journals and weird, like.
But you wonder how much of it is like
blogs.
Remember that book, we both talked about it before, Mother Night, that Kurt Vonnegut book. Yeah. And you wonder, like, at what point, like, okay, so she's, and I'll not use her as an example. Let's say you got a normal kid and they start a YouTube channel and they start to get in a groove, and then they start acting like they think that crew should be, and then at what point, what are they? And you wonder, like with some of these YouTube people, like when you see conflict on YouTube, you're like, well, is this real? Is this them as who they are? Is this a character? And they all say, well, it's me, I'm authentic. But like, you start seeing those traits get amplified about them. You start seeing those traits get amplified and everything. And so like, I could see, let's say I was watching this woman's YouTube channel over the months or years or whatever, you'd probably see some tension between her and her partner or whatever. And you'd wonder like, well, how much of that is for the show? How much of that is for, and it's that's a third. You have
I would see those parents, like, again, those type of videos that my son would watch or your kid would watch.
Yeah.
You would hear, and this was like a couple of years ago, there was like a bad one where like parents would like play pranks on their kids and then post it, right? But
right.
Some of them were just like outright abusive. Like these weren't even funny. They were like literally abusing their kids to get, and they would get like, these are like mid-range, like 50,000, 60,000 views, which is, in the big picture on YouTube, for me, that'd be amazing. Right? I would love that. But for real YouTube, that's nothing. But
right.
Like, they would, and again, it's all part of that weird like culture. Like, and you ever see Black Mirror?
No, I know what
you ever watched Black Mirror?
No.
Never watched that show?
I don't think so.
The British, like, it started.
Black Mirror. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying Black Mirror, like.
Yeah, no, not Blackbeard the pirate. You ever watch Blackbeard the pirate?
No, I thought you were saying like MERE, like Black Mirror. Oh yeah, I've seen Black Mirror. I've seen, I think, all of them.
Okay, did you ever see the one with Ron Howard's daughter, where it's like the world is all on social credits?
Yeah.
Like, and she's trying to get a house, and she's so close, but then she's like going to a wedding, and she just fucks everything up. She gets to a fight in the airport, and they remove like. She loses a point, like there's 5 points.
Right.
And like couple, like the wedding that she's going to, they're like a 4.5, 5, like they're high up. But like the way they would act and look at that is exactly what I'm talking about. Like that weird, like, it was such a great episode.
Yeah, that was a good one.
But like that lifestyle blog, like those weird videos you see on TikTok. Like there's TikTok, there's like artists I see on TikTok, and there's some weird shit on TikTok. There's some stuff that I shouldn't see on TikTok. But these like weird like families that try to be funny.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, and it's like it's part of that weird like. I hate using the term normie.
Yeah, I know what you mean though.
Yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't shock me that a lot of people go missing trying to die, get killed, doing all kinds of fucked up shit.
Yeah.
In this bizarre. No, go ahead. What?
No, it is a real bizarre world. And these people, I think that's what makes that case, and I guess we'll kind of like transition out of it now, but that's what makes that case so interesting, is it was like a confluence of all those little quirky things, all of which are pretty dangerous, being a woman in the modern world, and the media's fixation on like the suffering of women, and bad policing, and YouTube or social media culture. All of that together is this story.
And then I hate the term virtue signaling, because you could say that about anyone. The right does virtue signaling all the time. They always try to claim that the left is the one that virtue signal. Bullshit. The right is literally all they do is virtue signal. I mean, literally everyone does it. But when people like say about this woman who died, and then you tweet like, oh yeah, well, what about the Native American woman?
Yeah.
Like that is like the worst example of virtue signal. Like, and because like this woman's dead. It's not like she's, oh, look at her with her privilege.
Right. Yeah.
Like she was dead way before this started. Like none of this is like.
Yeah, it's real sad. I mean, the whole thing is very sad. Yeah.
It's like, it's like what was it, the story that that little girl that was killed, like in the 90s.
The John Benet Ramsey. Yeah.
People would make all kinds of sick jokes.
Yep.
Like this poor life. Was
this little girl died. Yeah, it was real. I mean, a lot of these
mostly abused her entire short life, you know.
Yeah.
And it just became a punchline.
Yeah, it's real ghoulish.
Yeah, it is. All right. Well, speaking of ghouls, no.
Yeah, speaking of ghoulish, you're 44. You're 44.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Yeah, you've been 44 for three whole minutes now.
Yeah.
Nice.
My sides hurt now all of a sudden. I'm very tired, but also not. I just gained 10 more pounds. My metabolism just got slower. I'm all gray now. I was going gray. Now it's just like Steve Martin now gray. You know, like Steve Martin had like the white hair.
Right. Yes.
And now you see Steve Martin now, and it's like he's just old.
Yeah, it is true.
And even the hair somehow looks old. Like before, it was white and young.
Yeah. Now it's like brittle, like straw that had been left out on a hot asphalt road.
Yeah, I'm 44 now.
Yeah. Well, this will be good because I'll save you a seat. We all meet at the Denny's 4 p.m. It's
not during the pandemic.
for breakfast.
I have no choice. I have to go.
Yeah, it's eggs. I'm surprised you haven't already gotten your letter in the mail. So it's
when did they start sending that to you? Don't you have to be in your 50s? You start getting ARP.
Well, I've been getting them all my life because I'm a junior. My dad and I have the same name, so for years I've been getting like AARP letters. You're an
old man, but you want to be young. It just changed. It just affected your personality and how you come on. Yeah.
So I've always gotten mail, like senior mail and whatnot.
When do you start getting it? Actually,
that's a good question. I don't know. I know
after you're 50.
I think once you turn 50, you can get benefits and stuff. I remember it was a big deal to me when my dad started getting senior movie tickets because he for years would just get a regular ticket. And then one day I went with him. He and I used to see a lot of movies together. And he's like, one adult and one senior. And I was like, whoa, you know, like, I guess, yeah, you are a senior, but like, yeah. So
it's like, little known fact, when you turn 44, you get these new pants that you pull all the way up to show your second stomach. Like there's the first stomach, right? That weird second stomach that just sits below the crotch.
Yeah, that's weird.
How does that work?
That's
I don't even want to see what that looks like naked.
You got to start eating small stones because that's where your food gets ground up. In the second stomach.
Second stomach. I have to eat small stones.
Yeah, it's like a gizzard, kind of.
I don't really feel different at this moment. Yeah, just for man, it's just a state of mind, dude.
Yeah,
what?
I never excuse me. I never really cared much about like turning older. You know, I mean, it never really bothered me.
But you're like 110, right?
Yeah, I'm quite old. But I don't know. I guess I was never a huge birthday person. You know, I mean, I don't like dislike birthdays, but it's never really bothered me to get older. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, we're here now. I'm 44 and you're like, I don't know how old you are.
I am 50. I was born in 1969, so I am
69, dude.
Oh yeah.
Nice. All the time.
I think I'm 52. 51 or 52, something like that.
Let me do some simple math and I'll figure it out. You know, it's man, that's a pain. You're like an odd number.
Yeah.
But we're also you're 52.
Well, it's weird. I was born like a month before they landed on the moon. So like I predate.
Before they
yes
landed on
before they claimed to have landed on the moon. So yeah, it is weird. It is weird to I'll say the one thing I don't like is now when I like have to fill out shit online, I have to scroll like 4 or 5 rotations of the mouse to get down to my age, my birth year. You know, it's like
when you like, you know, you want to get on the RB's birthday month,
right,
thing and you want to get your reward, and they're like, it starts at like 2005, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta scroll down like
you're just like
numbers or whatever. Thanks, Arby's, for making me feel old.
Exactly. I start to get like some sort of like tension in my index finger, and it's but yeah. Do you have plans for your birthday?
I mean, tomorrow's like a weekday.
Yeah.
So not really. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Well, this will be the most awkward transition of the evening, because the next thing we're going to talk about is the abortion rights crisis in Texas, which is
you celebrating your birthday,
right?
You know, Texas is just trying to make sure everyone can celebrate their birthday. You know what I mean?
It is. The right does, as much as I dislike the right, they do a good job of branding for sure.
Well, because it's such I think again,
it's
the
a layup,
argument of like, again, the biggest fail is it's like pro-choice, pro-life. The fact that you let them take the word pro-life, you already lost the argument. Like, because it's like, what am I, pro-death? Like, it's a no-win situation, and it's so simple. It's so simple. Yeah, I don't want women to be able to have an abortion, and you're like, I don't. You know, that's murder. You're murdering a child. That's like, and it's it's such a simple thing to say if you just ignore everything.
They don't even frame it that way. They'll frame it in terms of like wanting to support women as they make this. They do a very good job of framing
that they had no decision in making.
Well,
they made the decision to actually do it.
The big things, several things have happened since we started talking about this, and Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, and the Texas legislature have passed a whole bunch of abortion restrictions. Of all the abortions that happened in Texas prior to this, and there weren't a ton, but like of all of them, like 85% of them are now illegal, and they essentially deputized every human on earth to be able to sue someone
out of state too.
Well, that's the first thing I guess to talk about is that a guy, I have his name here, a doctor.
I forgot that's how bad that law was, that someone from out of state, not even in Texas, can sue you. That's insane.
So this guy, Alan Baird, a doctor, a reproductive health doctor, wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post that said, hey, I just broke Texas's law. You know, a patient came to me and needed a procedure done for health reasons, and it's illegal currently in Texas, and I did it anyway. Good. Fuck all y'all, and then mic drop, and then he submitted it to the Post, and they ran it. And he did it obviously intentionally, because he's using this to challenge the law. He wants to go to court. He wants someone to sue him. And a couple people obliged. One of them is a disbarred attorney from Arkansas,
who I think is serving time.
He may, I don't know if he is or not, but he basically said, I heard I could get 10 grand if I sue this guy and win. And he said, I don't care. I don't care about abortions. I'm not pro-life or whatever. He's like, I just want the money.
10 grand.
Give me that money. And so he sued.
Where's Texas getting this money?
That's a good question. Oh, I think it comes from.
They can't even fix the power grid.
You get it from the person. You can sue that person for damages. So
the state doesn't pay the bounty?
No. Alan Baird pays the.
Oh my God! You got to be kidding me! No, wait.
I'm pretty sure that's it. It's like a judgment.
That'd be too specific of a number, the 10 grand. Like a judge would decide in the end how much they get or whatever.
So it's probably written so it's like up to 10 grand.
The way I thought it was sold with the bounty was that the state would pay
No, because that's the genius of it, is that the state excises itself from the process. So that's what made it technically pass muster, legally.
The plaintiff is a felon serving he's serving a federal sentence at home in Arkansas with no connection. with no connect. Yeah. So the detail, I'm looking at the Washington Post. The details of the civil suit against Alan Baird, a physician in San Antonio, are as usual, blah, 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 blah. The plaintiff is a felon serving a federal sentence at home in Arkansas with no connection to the abortion act issue. He said he filed the claim not because of his strongly held views about reproductive rights, but in part because of the 10 grand he received. Yeah. Lawsuit successful. A second suit filed Monday, just 4 paragraphs long, came from a man in Chicago who asked the state court to strike down the abortion law as invalid. Since the Texas ban took,
So basically, these
a disbarred and disgraced former Arkansas lawyer, Oscar Stelly.
These people are essentially kind of working towards the same end in a weird sort of way. Like the doctor needed these people to sue him, you know, and it's even better that these two knuckleheads sued him because it's that
from Texas. It makes it just shows like how ridiculous this law is.
Couldn't have asked for the disgraced, disbarred, imprisoned lawyer from Arkansas is the perfect plaintiff in this.
It could have been better if the guy was a pedophile. That would be even funnier.
Yeah.
I mean, that's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Like, how repugnant this law is that a guy who would be a known sex offender or whatever could profit off of this ridiculous.
Jared from Subway.
Jared from Subway has something to say.
I need 10 grand for the commissary.
I'm not getting those Subway footlongs like I used to for free.
So,
they don't pay for themselves anymore.
That happened, and the whole of the abortion law thing has kind of been weird because like it got passed, and then everyone sort of like looked around nervously at each other. And normally you would think this would be a time for, you know, these horrible MAGA chuds to be like prancing around a national stage talking about how they delivered. None of them want to talk about it. You know, I mean, like Greg Abbott will say some things at ceremonies and this.
Well, he said that he was going to stop rape from happening. So he's that task.
That never fucking like he's going to.
What's he going to do?
Well, I just never understood. Like he said, hey, you can still get an abortion if you've been raped. You just get it before 6 weeks or whatever. And I mean, like
if you, Oh, and on top of it, you know that Texas is trying to make it impossible and that they want to get rid of like Plan B.
Yeah. So
it's super fucked up.
So
women should have every right to get that. That is insane.
Well, there's a bunch of companies that have made it, and these maybe they're making a buck off it or not, but they've basically said like, look, we're an international company with subsidiaries in the US. Just mail us. You go online, you say you want the drug, and then we mail it to you, and that's that, you know. But we're not. This was never targeted towards people who have that wherewithal, you know. This is targeted at young, vulnerable persons without a lot of resources.
Yeah, that's like a 14-year-old that was raped.
14-year-old that was raped, or a homeless 30-something-year-old, or someone who, I mean, it's geared towards vulnerable people, you know.
It's always the best when the government is made to work against the people in every way and every form.
So that happened, and everyone just sort of stepped away. Now these laws getting challenged are going to like force the issue, which is probably good. A few other things happened at the same time. Florida basically cut and pasted Texas's law and passed it themselves, you know. And the front page of the Fort Myers News Press, which is the town I used to live in Florida, super conservative town, that they ran a front page story today saying like, people don't like this. Women in conservative Lee County don't like this, you know. And then Susan Collins came out and said she has a lot of concerns, but she doesn't support buttressing or beefing up Roe versus Wade or offering.
It was like a law or something, and they were going to try to push to the Senate that protect right to choose, whatever. And Susan Collins, who for years got was considered one of the good Republicans.
That's her only
right to choose. And Planned Parenthood supported her for years.
Yep.
And I mean, she kind of already told you who she was years ago, especially when she let Kavanaugh in. Yeah. Even if Kavanaugh still got in, like even if she voted against him, Kavanaugh still got in. At least she could say she didn't vote for him, and she decided to vote for him. She didn't have to, and I think right there, she told you who she was. And somehow she still won in Maine. And I heard people say like the woman, the Democrat who ran against her wasn't very good. I don't care. I mean, I don't live in Maine. I guess if I lived in Maine, maybe I'd have a different opinion.
Yeah.
But like the idea is just get rid of Susan Collins. Because guess what? Now you're stuck with her for another 5 years.
Yeah.
The whole idea was to get rid of her because of her supporting Kavanaugh, who proudly will get rid of a woman's right to choose, and was also most likely a disgusting pig who did some shit to women when he was younger. Like, well, did you hear about it, like the FBI and everything? Like that was all bullshit. It was all bullshit. They just postponed for a week so they could like get people to like forget by the time.
They didn't that was all
it barely lasted a week. But she voted for him, and then she voted not to impeach Trump, and she should have lost in 2020. She's one of those seats I don't get it. Like, I thought the Kavanaugh thing would be enough to get rid of her, and I don't know, Democrats fucked up there.
I just always remember that great Dana Carvey skit.
Should have been an easy one. And now that she's in there for another 5 years, and who knows if she'll run again in 5 years? I mean, she's not young, But again, these senators will stay around till they're like 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. Maine's a weird place. Maine's not as liberal as.
Oh, I know. It's like a weird, like it's always been considered like a purple state, and it is literally a purple state because it's one of those states like not all of the votes will go to.
They have like proportional representation or something. It's a weird, quirky thing. Do you remember that old Dana Carvey skit, "Racists from Maine"?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I always that doesn't surprise. Well, anyway, and then the last piece of the puzzle for what we're talking about is that the guy who did The Wire pulled out of a filming project here in Texas.
Good. I mean, again, that's a more high profile name. We need more of that. But, Texas could. All these dipshits like Ted Cruz and all that, they could say that, who cares? We don't care about Hollywood. Bullshit. Bull fucking shit. They love Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
They love it. There's a fucking MAGA chud. If a Hollywood guy was revealed to be a MAGA chud, oh my God, they hold them up like they'll hold them up.
No, they love that.
God, I mean, like, they love, and Texas loves it. They want that. So no, they don't. If they start losing more and more, something like that, tech companies start leaving. Guess what? You reap what you sow.
Well,
you trick all these fucking people to move into your state. There's this delusion that the state was going to turn blue, and then on top of everything that's going on, I see, especially in our area, they're redistricting all the maps.
Yeah.
So, like representation here will be like Louisville, which is a highly more working class area, populated, more multicultural. What are they doing? They're splitting up the congressional map so that like Louisville now shares it with some rural local, and they won't have any real representation because they'll have like 10 more Dan Crenshaws in Texas.
Well, my take on the redistricting is that it's so fucked up that it's like, you can fuck it up a little more, I guess, but you're just as likely to fuck up some other aspect of something you fucked up previously, I think
fucking it up for their benefit. Republicans. I mean, it's designed to make sure that we don't get more Democratic congressmen or representation in the state because they redraw those maps based on what people vote. That's why Dan Crenshaw's district is the most bizarre, insane looking shape.
It looks like Bart Simpson on the toilet.
Yeah. Like people make an eye patch of Dan Crenshaw's district map. They make it look like an eye patch on his head because it's like a bizarre clump.
It's so harmful too, because like realistically, you should represent a logical area. You know what I mean? Like in Florida, there's this one district where a person, one representative represented a reasonably urban city, a touristy beach place, and farmland, little strip that kind of went east to west. And it's like, how do you do that? Because like the agriculture people, the people living inland, they want to use a fuck ton of agricultural chemicals so they can get their oranges to grow, but then all that washes down to the beach and fucks up the beach for the tourists, you know. And like, how does one in a perfect world, you'd have two people arguing over this and you come to some sort of compromise, but instead you got one person.
Everyone gets a free box of OJ.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's like they can't even effectively argue their case because like their constituents are opposed in their interests. You know, that's not how democracy is supposed to work. Way that
the majority. So, like I said, it's like a good example, and I guess this could lead to the governorship thing. And also, okay, so Texas puts in this voting restricting thing.
Yep.
It makes it harder for people to vote. So you do that, and then you redraw the map so that people are less represented, which turns even more people off from voting. You know, not everybody knows though. Most people don't pay attention to that stuff. They just vote. Like most people don't pay attention to
they just shuffle
gerrymander district, you know, like they just don't. But this is what they do. They do it because this is how they stay in business. And and so like supposedly Beto might announce his run for governor, which has kind of been like the worst kept secret. Okay, so let's say in a perfect world, Beto wins.
Sure.
It won't matter because the state assembly, whatever the fuck it is, Congress, Senate, they have like two, right, in Texas? They have
I think it's a bicameral. They have a Senate and a House, basically. Yeah.
So if they're predominantly Republican, they'll make sure they'll do what every Republican has done over the past couple of years, especially in
Wisconsin and North Carolina are the two that have done this.
I think Pennsylvania did the same thing.
I think you're right.
They tried doing it literally. Wisconsin and North Carolina, Kentucky also. They try to strip the powers away from incoming governors, and then those state assemblies happen to be predominantly Republican.
Yep.
So Beto comes in on and he will just. They'll try not to even recognize his win. They'll try to throw out his win because they can't. They could kind of do that supposedly with this whole bullshit.
I don't know.
Well, regardless, it doesn't. Even, I'm just saying that they would make it that like he will not enjoy the same powers that Abbott does.
Well, I think you're right. I think ultimately that's true. I still think it's like you still got to have good candidates running these races because eventually you're going to get someone who is smart and bold and
I get
who will go in there and say,
but if you make it impossible because there's a huge segment of a district because of the new gerrymandering that won't ever vote for somebody because they have a D in front of their name as opposed to an R. It doesn't matter how bold and amazing that politician is.
Well, I disagree to the extent that for a couple things. A, the alternative is like Greg Abbott or Ken Paxton or whatever those people are. You know, like so that's your alternative. You can have someone put them in check, or you can have a raging lunatic like Greg Abbott. And clearly having an ineffective Democratic governor is better than having.
Oh yeah, no. I would gladly take that.
Yeah.
Any day. I'm talking about the Congress, the House and State Senate, how it would be predominantly Republican, regardless.
Yeah.
And then the other reality is, honestly, Beto's chance of winning is probably next to nothing because he said he would take guns away. and people care more about guns here than they do people.
Yeah. I don't know.
I listen. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I applauded him when he said that because it takes guts for a politician to do that. But we are in Texas, and this state is literally like people when they think of Texas, they literally think of guns, which is weird because I think there's probably states in this country that are worse with guns.
Probably.
I don't know.
Well,
but
here
I could see people not voting for him because he said not saying the majority, but I could see him not winning because he said he would take guns away.
I don't know. I agree with you, and I think that's the likely outcome. I also think that younger people by far want gun control. They do. I know that. If you have 18-year-olds vote, if you can get 18-year-olds to vote, you could turn any state blue quickly. Yeah. They don't vote now, and so I mean, obviously, like if I had wings, I could fly. But like that's the trick is that redistricting. You're not going to redistrict 18-year-olds out of a congressional district. You're not going to redistrict. I mean, like if you get young people to vote, if you get people in their early 20s to vote, you can win. And I think that's the thing. And that's why I always get frustrated with like a lot of these debates they have like in the national media about like, voter ID or like that sucks. It's horrible. We should fight it. But ultimately, you got to fucking get out there and vote. Fuck.
No, I get that. I'm not even like. I just saying like the issue with him saying that about guns that like when he said that, he said that in reaction to what happened in El Paso, which is where he's from and where his congressional seat was. There was a horrible shooting in a Walmart where like I think it was like 30 or maybe even 50 people were killed. It was insane. And he said at one of the presidential debates around the time that he would remove like AR-15s or whatever. He would just take them. Or like he would make it illegal to sell them. And at the time though, guns, because you had so many shootings that the right and the NRA and stuff, they were looking worse and worse every day. Every time there was a shooting, everything, and then they would say, "Down all the time." Talk about this.
Yep.
But I think the Republicans were able to take advantage of a situation recently with COVID, because of COVID, we haven't really had mass shootings. There's been shutdowns. People, things have just changed, and there's. The joke was this year, especially when like people stopped wearing masks and stuff like that, and started opening up more. There were actually shootings.
Oh yeah, there was a shooting the other day in Virginia.
There's been shootings all year, but we haven't had any of those like in like the Pulse nightclub,
right?
Parkland, the one in El Paso. These like they all happened. The one in Vegas. They all happened in like a 2-3 year stretch when Trump was president. A bunch happened during Obama. Bunch really bad what's happened like the first 2 years of Trump's presidency.
Right.
And at the time, guns were like, the Republicans were losing out that war in a way. They on the public field. But with COVID and everything happening, people one thing that Republicans know in this country is that most people have the memories of a fly.
It's true.
Give a shit. And with COVID changed everything. So we haven't had any, we have shootings every day. It's a violent country and everything like that. But we haven't had those crazy ones that just suck out. Just take up all the media attention. And like Texas put in that gun law. Would they have done that 2 years ago? I don't know if they would have. I mean, I'm sure they would have tried, but it probably wouldn't have made it to the floor.
Yeah.
But they were able to do it because there hasn't been that many or at least none of these big, tragic mass shootings that we've gotten used to. So the Republicans are able to exploit people's apathy towards it.
Yeah.
COVID. and not seeing it in the news. So this sounds fucked up, but unless there's some bunch of mass shootings start happening,
right?
Beto's, they're gonna like say he's some like gun grabber, and dude, guns are like, it's weird. Guns are like a religion of people.
Yeah.
I'll never understand that.
I don't know.
I
know. I think that given the state of things, I think you're not going to, like, no Republican's going to vote for Beto, and no Democrat's going to vote for the Republican. So you're fighting over the middle of the road electorate. And I think those people are persuadable with guns. I don't think there's any great love. If you identify as an independent, I think you're pretty open-minded on gun control.
Beware, a lot of people who claim to be independent usually vote Republican.
Yeah, I think so.
I noticed that a lot. Most people they'll just say like, I'm an independent, but they'll like repeat right-wing talking points all the time.
Yeah, I mean there's something to that, but I think also a lot of younger people identify as independent, but are really pretty progressive and stuff, you know.
What about Matthew McConaughey running?
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, I don't think anybody has any ideas.
Any positions?
Well, I remember the one thing I will say about him is when Trump became president, he put out like 3 or 4 tweets saying we should give Trump a chance. And that was already after everyone knew exactly who Trump was. And so that's a strike in my
red flag.
I don't know. I mean, like, will Beto win? No, I think the Republicans will win, but like, I only think that because I have so little faith in the young voter turnout.
Yeah, you know? I don't think it's fair to blame the young. I think there's a lot of people who vote. There's a lot of people that vote, and there's a lot of reasons why people don't vote. And it's like, I mean, it's the same thing as like the vaccine rollout. I think it's misinformation. They're not getting good information from people. There's people still to this day that don't realize that the vaccine's free. So they don't get it.
True. That is true.
And they also don't get it because they can't get time off of work. Kind of like the same thing with voting. They don't know how to register to vote, which is a big thing. And, you know, Beto, the one thing he's been doing for the past couple of years, actually, which is interesting, is he's been registering people like crazy. That's been his first thing. So that might be the smartest move he could do to get voters and get people excited about him running, is like, hey, I already got millions of people registered in Texas this past 2 years, you know?
Well, that's like Georgia. I don't think there's any coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence that Georgia has almost 100% voter registration. They have very high voter turnout.
I wonder what's going to happen next, because that guy's up next year. And that motherfucker's going to do whatever he can to try to like make sure he stays in power.
I'll bet you he wins, especially if they run fucking Herschel Walker against him. Who's Herschel Walker.
Well, Herschel Walker's a Republican.
Yeah.
He's talking about Brian Kemp.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Warnock. I don't know. I can see the governorship staying with the Republicans, but who knows? I mean,
I don't think Herschel Walker's going to beat Warnock.
Oh, no, I don't either. I think I think that's going nowhere. I just looked up the voter.
I'm talking about Brian Kemp. Like, that guy's going to do whatever he can to stay.
Well, here's the voter turnout for last election. 65 and older, 71% of them voted. And 35 to 64, 65% of them voted. And 18 through 34, 57% of them voted. And I know for like the 18 through 25 range, it's like 40% or whatever. They just got to vote. You got to get out there and vote. And I know it's a pain in the ass, and I know they make it hard, but you got to vote. You know, if you can fucking stand. Here's where I turn my full 52. If you can fucking stand in line at a goddamn iPhone store to get the iPhone 13, you can fucking stand in line at the polls, you know.
Get your iPod Zoom or whatever.
If you can stay up till like 4 a.m. to watch like What If when it first comes out, then you can like fucking stand in the polls.
Hey, you know what? I do vote.
I know you do. I'm just saying, like,
vote, but I'm also 44.
All like so many people do so many things for things they really want, you know.
Of course.
But
that's why some people got vaccinated when they're like, oh, I could win $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, some people need to be incentivized, you know, like.
Wow. That's a good pivot to the coronavirus stuff is we have been seeing
Texas this week, and I don't think it was last week, this week is now the worst state in the country when it comes to COVID deaths.
Well, hold on to your 10-gallon hat there, because I was listening to the radio today, and the Texas State Fair starts next week. And they said that they're going to be vaccinations given at the fair. And if you get vaccinated at the fair, you get a coupon for like a free corny dog. And,
are you serious?
Yep. And like a Dr. Pepper.
Well,
so
the problem with that is the vaccine. I mean, that's great. The vaccination doesn't kick in until like 2 weeks.
Right. And you have to
go. Hell yeah. Dude, if that gets even just like 1,000 more people a day vaccinated,
toss in a Bluebell ice cream, and I think you're on to something.
Might get listeria. You know what? I always thought it was odd with Bluebell when people died from it. Listeria was that when they came back, they came out with a new ice cream flavor called Listeria and Cream. And I was like, these motherfuckers, they know they have a strong consumer base. I mean, they're just shoving it in their face.
Yeah, right. Not since the Whataburger salmonella and eggs have I seen.
Right. The Taco Bell's crunchy botulism.
Right. Crunchy botulism gordita. Yeah.
What was it? Avocado.
Oh yeah, the avocado. Those are delicious. Tropical smoothies, avocado. Anyway, so maybe we'll get some more people vaccinated. I don't know. It's the coronavirus in Texas seems like it's just getting like worse and worse.
Because they made it political. Well, that's it. They made it political. They didn't make it political. Like, there's people who are literally not getting vaccinated because Biden's president.
Yeah,
they think it's like they are sticking their finger up, giving the fuck you to Biden. That's what they think they're doing. They think that's an act of rebellion, and it's like, dude, you're just fucking over yourself.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are getting real sick with the coronavirus. Like, a lot of COVID deniers are getting sick and dying, but they never come out publicly and say they were wrong. They always like tell someone on their deathbed or something. It's screwy.
Yeah, you would think that, like, what was it you posted on our stories? The 5 stages of COVID or whatever.
Oh yeah. And the last one was like the GoFundMe or something.
Yeah, pray for me, GoFundMe.
Yeah,
which usually is just paying for like a funeral.
Yeah, it is something. That what the Laura Loomer got coronavirus.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so if anyone needs context of who this person is, she's a heinous troll that worked for Project Veritas or something.
Probably. Didn't she handcuff herself to Twitter once?
Like, well, she got handcuffed to Twitter because she's a racist piece of shit. And they were like, yeah, you're gone. And then she wore like a fucking Jewish star, like it's Nazi Germany.
Yeah, that's right.
Off lady. She's just a heinous person, but a lot of these right wingers were like pushing this thing, like, I'll get COVID. I mean, fuck, even like Joe Rogan said that he thinks the best way to fight COVID is to get COVID. He basically said you have more antibodies.
Right.
You get the vaccine. That's not true.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
But that's the most insane thing. Yeah, get COVID to fight COVID. Yeah, that makes total sense, man.
Yeah. Right.
Man, you're right.
It's like when they fight a forest fire by burning trees. It's like,
yeah,
that might make sense, but it's not the same with humans and bodies. Like,
right. Like, I mean, they're literally playing Russian roulette with their body. Like, yeah, some get COVID and nothing happens to them. We know that already. Some get COVID and they sniffle, or they claim it is. I think those It's people who claim, they'll say like they got like a cold or something, or a mild fever, whatever, and they'll claim they had COVID. It's like, no, you didn't, dude. You just got like because these are people not wearing masks and stuff, so they're exposed to everything. They probably just got like a 24-hour virus, or
who knows? Yeah,
who knows? But like, man, this day and age, especially 2 years into this, almost all the people who are dead. You really want to play that game? You really want to play the get COVID to stop COVID game? That's,
you know, it's a weird little quirk, and I can't remember if you told me about this or maybe you posted about it somewhere. Maybe it wasn't even you, but like a lot of local school districts around here have these mask mandates, and they
not ours.
What?
Not ours.
No, not ours, but like Denton or Plano or whatever.
Well, Denton actually got rid of theirs.
Right. And then they got rid of it because it worked.
Like, that's so insane. It's like, wait until the vaccines.
I think that's
like, what
that
like,
that
they wait till like one person took off one day and then just snuck it in. We're like, oh, it works now, so we're getting rid of it.
That made perfect sense to me in a real fucked up way. Like, obviously I think it's ridiculous. If you have it and it's working, then of course you keep it. But if you tell a room full of 50 chuds, we got to wear masks, and they all start like just crying up a storm and screaming that it's not fair, and you know, they're MAGA and all that, and you tell them, you know, well, I'm sorry, but like 9% of our population has it, so fuck y'all, we're gonna do the masks. And then it works and you're down to 1%. That's a tough argument to make to these people, that we got to still wear masks, because they'll just look at you and say no one has it anymore.
These are people that you're not arguing with them. You can't argue with these people. I just think they made a really stupid move. It's stupid. I mean, like, if it works, then keep it until the vaccinations.
Yeah.
So then that's what you say. You go, we are keeping the masks going until the vaccinations are available for children under 11.
Yeah, that's what it should have been all along.
And then once we hit a certain number of kids that get vaccinated, we'll get rid of them. Then we can get rid of the masks.
Yeah.
It's that simple. But they refuse to do it. They don't want to do it.
Nope.
The fact that Denton did it is pretty amazing, actually. But where we live, it's not even like there. Yeah, it's like not even a conversation. People live their lives here. If someone gets COVID and
people here have had close friends die of COVID, and they're still like, no.
Yeah, like, you know what's fucked up? I'm like, every time you see these anti-vaxxers who die of COVID and stuff, you're like, you would think it would rub off and people would be like, holy shit, I need to get vaccinated. But like, some of these nuts will be like, oh, they were crisis actors.
Yeah.
Well, like, okay, so back to the Laura Loomer thing. The funny thing about her is she got it and she was like supposedly fucking wrecked.
Right.
But a lot of these like internet chud people like her, Milo and Rogan, all them, they claim that they got better through ivermectin.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're lying.
Yeah.
I went to my doctor the other day to get my flu vaccine, and she was telling me all these horrible stories she has. She's like, I've been a doctor for years. I've never dealt with this before. Like, dealing with these people who all of a sudden now are like PhDs, you know, when it comes to like now they're the doctor, you know, like fighting with people. And like, she said she gets patients who want like ivermectin, and she's like, I'm not going to prescribe you something and literally does not work and might give you a heart attack.
Yeah.
And then she has people who constantly ask for hydroxychloroquine, and she's it doesn't work.
Well, I'll tell you, this started a while ago, I think, with like the internet and WebMD and shit like that. I used to work in mental health, and all the time when people heard that I worked in mental health, I was able to diagnose some conditions, like legally. You know, I had a credential to do that. And
that's you insane.
Yeah, right.
You to be a little kooky.
I read a book like a while ago, and they basically said, like, they were talking about like how we diagnose people, and they said that the earliest form of classification was that there were two diagnoses. You could be epileptic or an idiot. And so, and the idiot was like the medical term at the time. And I used to joke, like, if you went to a doctor back then, they'd be like, do you ever find yourself shaking a lot? And if the answer was no, they're just like, okay, idiot. Like that's
like, Doc,
all right, you're an idiot.
It was kind of sad the other day.
But when WebMD and shit like that used to come out, people would start Googling symptoms, and then very quickly they diagnose themselves as having something that they didn't. They'd be like, I was sad for like a week, but they're not like clinically depressed. It's like they were sad because like some shitty things happened, and that's normal. And I think that like this started when people started getting access to WebMD, but now you have people just taking that to the extreme where they're like
the COVID and all the misinformation out there.
Yeah, because now there's misinformation, and now there's like a certain pride in going against the medical establishment. That's like a badge of honor amongst some of these people, and it's just such a bizarre time to be alive. I don't know. I mean, like, and the weird part is you see a lot of people on the periphery of the medical profession, and nurses are obviously very well trained and educated and critical, but like a lot of nurses have grudges against doctors. They think that and like you see a lot of these contrarian nurses and stuff go super anti-vax. It's just so weird.
I don't even understand that. Like I said, I was talking to my doctor for a while about this and the whole nurse thing and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to even get into that. But you were talking to me beforehand about like, because like I said, I went to go get my flu vaccine.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go get the booster when it's available. Supposedly, I learned that if you have the Moderna one, you're supposedly better off.
I have heard that.
More antibodies in that. So, but you were saying that your fear is that you think less people now are going to get the flu vaccine this year than they did the year before because of all because a lot of the stages of anti-vaxxing is, especially with COVID, is kind of starts with people claiming, well, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I just don't trust this one vaccine.
Right.
But we know that is like bullshit, and this is going to lead to them being just against all vaccines.
Right. And it'll get worse because these people have kids and then they'll not vaccinate their kids.
Yeah.
Or like, I'll bet you in like 3 or 4 years, as we see a new generation entering public education, you're going to start seeing a lot of lawsuits. Like, why do I have to have a mumps vaccine?
Yeah. Why do I have a polio vaccine?
Yeah. And that's when shit'll get real, because I don't know any of this. I wish everyone got vaccinated, but I'm reasonably certain, definitely not 100%, that if my kid gets vaccinated and my kid practices common sense, that my kid will probably be okay from the coronavirus. All things that I just believe that. I know that's not a.
I mean, you're better if your kid is vaccinated and
you've done what you can do.
Then yes, your chances of not getting it are very low.
Right. You've done what you can do. You can sleep at night saying like, I did my best.
Yeah.
But like, if all these other disease, if these little chudlings are coming to school in 4 or 5 years, completely unvaccinated, you're just going to see these catastrophic.
Well, they're going to mutate. All these things are going to mutate and come back even stronger.
And then I'm going to have to worry about like, well, what about like this vaccine or that vaccine that was always effective before, and now I've got to like worry about getting a booster, and I've got like that's when shit gets real.
Didn't they say we like outpaced the deaths of the 1918 flu or some shit?
Yeah, just the other day I read that too.
Pathetic when you think about it, because I was like listening to like Majority Report. I'm pretty sure it was Majority Report they were talking about, and they said like, you gotta figure 100 years ago.
They didn't have like fucking penicillin back then.
We didn't. Yeah, you didn't have penicillin. You didn't have interstate highways. You didn't have like it took months to travel across the country still. So like we didn't even have like not a CDC, but like a health thing. There was like a couple of people. The fact that we have like in modern day have allowed ourselves to die more of a virus because of misinformation.
It's crazy.
That's scary, dude. To make comparisons to a country 100 years ago, like you said, we didn't have fucking penicillin yet.
Yeah,
that's insane, dude.
It is bizarre.
Like, we are the only reason why we are in our society where we are now, where you get an iPhone and we get to do this podcast, we get to travel and do things, or we could,
in theory,
is because of vaccines. Vaccines are like the main reason why like the world humanity didn't die, or at least didn't like, we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for vaccines. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have the culture, entertainment, the technology would not be where it's at if it wasn't for vaccines. Vaccines had a lot to do with us making it to the century.
Well, you will see. I mean, I think that's the awfulness of it, is that it will start with, well, I'm not going to get the coronavirus vaccine, and then they'll get red pilled into not getting the flu vaccine.
Yeah.
And then they will not get the shingles vaccine, and then they will not
going to get they're not going to get the what do you call it? What's not smallpox? What the fuck is that? The one that chicken pox.
Oh yeah, right.
They're not going to get the chicken pox vaccine.
And then you're going to get instances where like kids aren't getting regular vaccines.
They're not getting the measles one. They're not getting.
It's going to be a disaster, So I'm curious to see, like, because I know they keep statistics of this. I'm curious to see if the flu vaccine goes down this year, if the number of people getting it goes down, or percentage of people getting it goes down. I think it will, So
like I said, I talked to this was before the school year started. I talked to the principal and I said, hey, how did the flu do last year in the school? She's like, did you have any outbreaks? She's like, no. You know why?
Yeah.
Because everyone was wearing a mask in the school, and this year there is no mask. So not just are you going to have probably like a depletion of people not getting vaccinated this year, like there's going to be, like, I feel like the people who are going to get the flu vaccine are still going to get it, but you might have lost a couple along the way. And then on top of it, you get a majority of the kids not wearing a mask. So man, could be an ugly winter.
Well, we'll see.
I hope it, but I mean, like you just said, people are not going to get the vaccine. I'm not even the COVID one, but like they're not going to get the simple flu vaccine.
Yeah.
And the thing too is that, like, okay, like the COVID vaccine, I could understand some of the fears. Like there have been people who've gotten sick from it. My wife got her second shot.
My wife had a mild reaction.
My wife did not have a mild reaction.
Right. Yeah, it was a pretty significant.
It sucked. But flu vaccine, you don't really get a reaction. Like your arm might like be a little achy after.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I can't, like, people have it's amazing how dangerous misinformation is.
Oh yeah. Well, and the real thing is, I mean, we've seen some of it. I mean, obviously there's a lot of people passed away from coronavirus and people got very sick, but I don't think we've seen the full extent of the damage. I mean, like, I think this damage will linger for a long time and almost be real difficult to trace. People might not get all sorts of life-saving procedures done based off of something that started with coronavirus misinformation. Yeah.
No, I mean, it is a literal the thing that's fucked up is it not just is misinformation bad, but unfortunately this misinformation is highly profitable for a lot of people.
Well, and
didn't Project Veritas put out something recent, some anti-vax bullshit?
Yeah, and it's just a nurse, and she's already got a GoFundMe for herself because she got let go from her job. And I mean, it's just like
her. Listen, if you go to if you're a baker and you refuse to make cookies, you're fired.
Yeah. Well, it's just
you know what? Like, if you work for a company and your main point, the only reason to be there is to design something because you were hired to design it and you refuse to do it, guess what?
A lot of this kind of started with that Fox News, that Fair and Balance. We're going to present both sides. Like,
well, they don't like that one side.
Now it's like now it's expanded to, well, like which science you select to believe in or whatever, which is just like
bullshit. There's one science and then there's quackery.
Yeah. I mean, it's so clear. You can't select a science.
Like, we would say, like, do the research. Like, oh yeah, what peer review study did you read?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, like, okay, the nurse who refuses to get the vaccine, she gets fined. Well, one, you must have been a shitty nurse. I'm sorry, that just freaks me out. Like, you work in healthcare and you refuse to get vaccinated.
Well,
I mean, listen, unless you like literally have, like, there are some people who just cannot get vaccinated. It's not as common as you think.
There's
I don't want you to be my nurse.
Right. No, I know what you mean. I've known people that have real sensitivities towards vaccinations, and I knew one woman who, God, she had that. What is the technical name for mad cow disease? Creutzfeldt-Jacobson. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember the actual.
It's name. Like Creutzfeldt-Jacobson disease or something. Anyway, she had like some experience with that when she was traveling overseas, and then that developed into. Anyway, I know it's a real thing, but you're right. Like, they don't need to be working in healthcare with patients.
Go get a job somewhere else.
Yeah, or you can still work in that industry. You just you're not doing patient care anymore. Now you're teaching people how to be a nurse, or now you're, who knows?
I don't even know if you want those people to be a teacher. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, I never will understand that. Like, if you're in healthcare and you don't get vaccinated, it's like, but I guess it's like you said, it's like how there's people who get into teaching so they can shove their religion in there.
Well, I think there's that. I think a lot of these, and I know I've gone back to this a few times over the last couple of weeks. I think if you have someone who's kind of soft on the notion of a vaccine, or open to the idea that vaccines might be not all they're cracked up to be, and they get reinforcement, and that reinforcement gets amplified via social media, then all of a sudden they become super zealots. You know what I mean? Like, if there's a nurse who's like, yeah, vaccines might be good, and then someone's like, oh, did you say vaccines might be not good? Like, would you mind doing a video? And then they get a bunch of hits and likes.
Oh yeah, and they're like sucked into, and they get like mild fame, and
next thing you know, they're like crusaders against vaccines. But they didn't even start out that way. They started out with like a reasonably healthy skepticism.
And then they're smearing their shit on the walls of the
state. Exactly. Next thing you know, they're wearing a loincloth and like urinating on a potted plant in the speaker's lobby or something. I mean, it's like
so what was the next thing on there?
Well, the last political or news thing we're going to talk about is election reform.
Before we get to that, did you see Marjorie Taylor Greene got caught wearing a mask?
Oh no, I didn't.
Okay, so I know that sounds weird. Like, wait, why would we be against that? With this woman like pushes anti-vax, anti-mask stuff,
right? And
they said like after she was done speaking, she got caught putting a mask on, and then funny. Like when she was traveling, she was wearing a mask. It was just really funny because it's like it just shows that this woman is a piece of shit. Because she clearly knows what's up.
Yeah. There was some politician, I think it was Chip Roy. A congressman out of Texas. And he kept on tweeting over and over again, don't wear a mask, don't comply, don't, that kind of shit. This motherfucker wears masks all the time. He's like,
my choice to do so.
You see him in Congress wearing a mask, he's walking to his car wearing a mask, he's vaccinated. I was like, Chip Roy wants you to go play in traffic. Chip Roy's not going to play in traffic himself, but
go walk in a minefield.
Chip Roy,
clearly this man is a man that doesn't give a shit if school children's milk is actually lead paint.
Chip Roy wants you to die for a cause he thinks you might kind of want to believe in. Like okay.
As long as you vote for Chip Roy.
Yeah.
If you're alive still.
Right.
I guess Chip Roy will worry about COVID when he realizes he lost 20% of his voters.
Yeah.
And then Chip Roy might be like, and then they'll just redraw the maps again.
Did you see that thing?
here, also 150 miles away.
A writer at the Federalist the other day wrote a big op-ed. He's a big guy at the Federalist, a well-known whatever. Said
it's like
that
a right-wing outlet, right?
Yeah, super right-wing. And he said that Democrats are trying to use reverse psychology to get conservatives killed.
I think I saw this.
We talk about how great the vaccine is, knowing that will prevent MAGA chuds from getting the vaccine, and will thus kill them.
It's like kind of funny, but like I don't even understand what he's. So is he telling people to go get vaccinated?
Yeah, he's one of the few Republicans where it's like, yeah, you should get a vaccine. He doesn't believe in mask mandates or anything.
Like, oh no, you can't blame the Republicans for this. This is clearly the Democrats' fault for why why we lied to you for the past decade, and why we allowed you to be exposed to Russian bots and Facebook bullshit.
It's just hilarious, all right.
But man, that's like such a fucking rabbit season, duck season.
Yeah.
Like, dude, those Democrats are sitting there laughing as you drop dead of COVID. Let's prove them wrong by getting that vaccine. I mean, hey, I'll say this.
Sure.
Whatever it fucking takes to get these idiots vaccinated.
Yeah.
Like I said, I know make jokes and say, like one of the funny, one of the things people make a joke when one of these people die or they get sick is like, like, oh, well, they didn't get, it's like, well, why argue with an anti-vaxxer when I could wait,
Yeah.
The problem is that, like we said earlier about these viruses will mutate. These people share the same ecosystem we do, believe it or not. We all breathe the same air, I think, or even though they don't think we do, and they will hurt us or our loved ones. They will hurt they will hurt their children, their loved ones, and that's why it's important everyone gets vaccinated. I just think it's funny that this is how the guy, again, if it even gets a tiny percentage of people, I don't think, that seems like a form of sarcasm or like irony,
satire or something. I don't know. He was being serious.
I don't think that's too like. They'll just blame the Democrats as they like ignore every COVID restriction still. Again, it's the same. We'll move on right after this. It's the same thing right from the get-go. Where Trump's like, I want to call it the China virus. And like, it was made in the lab. And they want to all say that. They all want to say, or like when that dumb woman, that hideous woman from the TTP got COVID, she started talking about how the guy, the evil man, communist man in China gave her the Wuhan virus. And it was like, okay, you gonna wear a mask and vaccinate? No.
No.
Well, then shut the fuck up. Like, I mean, like if you don't take it seriously.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
Like, so they're just gonna blame Democrats for why people got COVID while ignoring every COVID restriction, while ignoring getting the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can't do anything about it. That guy who wrote that is just a little too highbrow for.
Yeah.
I think he might have.
He is the Mr. Bean of the Federalists.
Yeah, real highbrow humor. That British humor.
Yes.
My favorite highbrow British humor is this man named Mr. Hill, Benny Hill.
Yes, he is classic.
Oh my God, it's so highbrow when they would speed up the film.
Mm-hmm. And that song.
And Mr. Benny Hill or fucking Mr. Bean Hill, just merge them all into one glob. And he would dress up as a Bobby,
yes.
And then he would chase after a woman with big bazooms, and then he would then stop and look at the camera and go, and then highbrow as hell.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of subtext there. Well,
a lot of deep, this is real high level shit.
Well, the last political item before we talk about some pop culture stuff, I guess I don't have a ton to say. It's about election reform, and I had heard for a while that the Biden administration was getting close to making a move, and then I heard nothing, and nothing really has come of it. I don't know. I mean, Merrick Garland, I guess, brought something to court. about some voting rights stuff. I really kind of hoped for a bigger press with this, and it doesn't look like it's coming anytime soon.
You talking about the Voting Rights Act then?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what they're waiting for. Do they want to try to like stretch it out to next year so it's part of the fucking midterms? Like, what was his face? This goes back to the infrastructure bill. Like another thing that's like getting killed by some, like Joe Man shit.
Yep.
What he's doing is like he said like I want to bring it up to 2022, right?
Right.
And like, well, I don't want to do this now. We'll do this next year, like raising taxes and stuff. And it's like, no, he would vote against it too because then now he forces the Democrats to have to do a vote on raising taxes in an election year.
Yeah.
That doesn't fly with people.
No.
That guy sucks. But I just don't. They have to do all these things now. It's like all these big moves have to happen now, and they're not. Did you see that a thing came out about Kristen Sinema about her net worth, what she was worth like 2 years ago, what she's worth now?
I'm sure it's gone up significantly.
Yes. It went from like digging in trash, I suppose she was like a dumpster, to making a senator's salary, right? Which is
nice.
Right. To like being worth millions now.
Yeah.
So not shocked there, right? I haven't like who would think that would influence where's she getting that money from?
She's just real disappointing. She and
like any other job, like if I got a job and I made 100, let's say 200,000 a year, 270,000 a year. But like in a year, I'm worth $1 million.
Yeah, that doesn't add up.
I mean, like unless I'm doing like some side hustles and shit.
Right. Unless you're heavy into the NFTs,
Or some fucking crypto scams. Or like I don't even know. Like I don't get it. I don't.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I just, I know a big part of me is like, people just got to vote. And I still believe that, but
it's easy for you to vote though. In your situation, we live in an area that is middle class, maybe even considered above middle class in some parts, especially in our area. There's some, and you're a white guy.
Oh yeah, look, don't get me wrong. I have it as easy as you're going to get. I have a car. I have a standard driver's license. My ID is fine. I don't have any warrants because no one like camped outside or pulled me over for minor traffic violations, then went on a fishing expedition. I have a flexible work schedule. There's plenty of polling locations around here. Yeah. They're nice and well lit and have convenient hours. Everything that could possibly.
You're also not asked as many questions as other people because you are a white male. I know this sounds like know your privilege, check your privilege. But in this situation, this is exactly, it is easy for us to say vote. And we do mean it, vote. But like when I voted, I think, and even voting early in the last election, I still had to wait in like a 45-minute line. There was some COVID stuff. They didn't let people in at the time, but still, like it took like 45 minutes, right? But I see stories of people waiting on like 8-10 hour lines.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But I'll tell you, you theoretically should only have to do it once. If you vote and a majority of your friends vote, you can have anything you want. You want legalized marijuana? Get that. If you want,
easier said than done, but yeah.
But you could. I mean, plenty of states have done it. And I'm not even talking about like liberal, radical. Michigan,
no, I know.
Plenty of like blue collar, middle of the road states have it. If you want some common sense gun laws passed, you can have that. If you want, if next time you vote, you want it to be all done by mail, you could have that. I mean, you could really have whatever you want.
Well, that's the one thing Texas tried to do is make sure to get rid of vote by mail, right?
Well, not for military people or seniors.
Yeah. That would be a losing proposition.
If you want it, you get out there and vote, and then you have it. That's how it works. And I know it sucks, and people got childcare issues, and there's a lot of reasons why it's hard to vote.
Not a day off for everyone,
right? But you should make it a priority. Everyone has something that they make a priority, whether it's getting a new phone or getting tickets to a game or staying up late to watch something or whatever. Make voting that thing. Do it. That's it.
I know, but like I said, it's easy. Like I said, we have polling places really close to us. Like we have, and you could vote early in Texas, but we have multiples in our area. We can either go one or we could drive over there. It's not far. We can do it kind of conveniently where we don't have to we don't really have to take a day off to vote. We can go vote like literally any time. Might have to wait a little bit, but overall, whole thing might take less than an hour. It's easier said than done. Now, let's say if you work like 2 shitty jobs and you're most of the time, and then you got to figure out a day off. So I could get some like Kristen Cinema person into power so they can like give me some fucking, what do you call it, like moderate bullshit, or why they can't give me like healthcare. Like, that's the kind of shit that turns people off from voting. There's a lot of factors involved too. You don't even need the things that create voter apathy is people like Joe Manchin. Manchin for the entire country.
That is a good point. That is a good point.
I mean, like, but listen, I'm not trying to shit on you.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying too. I'm just saying, like, even though everything you're saying is true, you should still figure it out and do it.
Of course, I agree.
And I, as much as I hold the right responsible, man, I knew a lot of kids when I was teaching that turned 18 and they didn't vote. And a lot of 18-year-olds don't vote. And I'll bet you most 18-year-olds don't vote. And most 18-year-olds got plenty of time on their hands to go vote. And you got to figure that shit out.
Yeah, I know. No, I get it. Like I said, it's just there's a lot of factors involved. And then, of course, man, we don't even know what kind of bullshit in Texas, like in this thing they pushed through, this voter thing.
Yeah.
Did you see I sent you that video before the podcast?
Yeah, that was great.
The Ted Cruz thing. Should I just, it's like a minute long.
Yeah, I think you can play that.
That is like kind of funny, but like, because Ted Cruz, piece of shit.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Ted Cruz is fucking trash. Okay, here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to start with a question for each of the 5 witnesses. In your judgment, are voter ID laws racist? Professor Tolson.
Thank you for that question. So it depends. One thing we have to stop doing is treating all voter ID laws as the same.
Okay, so your answer, I want to move quickly, so it depends is your answer?
Yes, it does. That's my answer.
Okay, so what voter ID laws are racist?
Apologies, Mr. Cruz, your state of Texas, perhaps?
Okay, so you think the entire state of Texas is racist. What about requiring an ID to vote is racist?
So I think, sir, that's pretty reductive. I'm not saying the entire state of Texas is racist.
You just said my state of Texas, so you tell me, what about the Texas voter ID laws is racist?
So the fact that the voter ID law was put into place to diminish the political power of Latinos with racist intent, and it had been found to have—
You're asserting that. What's your evidence for that?
The federal district court that first resolved the constitutionality of Texas's voter ID law.
Okay, so your view is voter ID laws are racist. How about you, Mr. Yang?
I agree with Professor Tolson. Voter ID laws can be racist.
Okay, that's good. Mr. Sides?
There are some voter ID laws that are racially discriminatory in intent.
But how about in practice? In intent, I find you say there's some racist with a malevolent intent lurking in the back of their mind. But let's just talk about it as a practical matter. When I go to vote, they ask me for my ID. I pull out my ID. I show it to them. I vote. Is that racist?
If the law that requires you to do that was motivated by racially discriminatory intent under our Constitution.
Set aside intent. I'm asking about the effect.
Yes, in effect, I think that there are discriminatory effects from a number of voter ID laws.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to.
What an asshole. Yeah, Ted Cruz is a piece of shit. First of all, we know that the Texas law, his intent was to be racist.
Yeah.
We could also say classist. It was basically designed to make it harder for.
They figured out people likely to vote Democratic and targeted them.
Well,
that's it.
Yeah, because Republicans don't. That's not part of their agenda. Like, they try to convince Black people to vote for them and stuff like that, but it's always like a con because it's like they're voting against voting against themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Ted Cruz sucks.
He's
like,
the worst.
I just love that woman, that their answer. It's racist because it was proven it was.
Yeah.
It was racist because it came out of your mouth, Ted Cruz.
Yeah,
How about I know the law is racist in Texas because it was written by Texan GOP politicians who are probably a good chance.
Racist.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Fucking clown. All right. Well, speaking of, and you know what? He is a fucking malignant. He is like a parasite. A fucking parasite.
Speaking
of what?
Speaking of, we were going to talk about the movie Malignant.
Starring Ted Cruz?
No. So I don't know who the actress is. I haven't heard or seen any of these actors.
I looked her up and she was in a bunch of things. She's in things and I didn't realize it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't even have the IMDb. I mean, we'll spend a couple minutes talking about this. So I saw it. It's one of those movies that came out of theater and went to HBO Max at the same time.
Yes.
The way it was advertised, I thought it was just gonna be another one of these Conjuring movies.
Yes, I did too.
I don't care for those movies. I find them criminally boring. All those movies. There's a whole series starting Vera Farmiga and what's his name? Patrick something. And I just can't get into them. I always find them really boring, like the one with Annabelle.
Yeah. They all blur together. I don't find them terribly interesting. They're not bad, but
then Malignant ended up being more like an 80s slasher horror movie.
Definitely.
With 70s. Everyone kept on bringing up. Okay, so we're going to spoil Malignant. Malignant is about a Texas senator named Ted Cruz. He's growing on the back of the country, and he's a parasite sucking all. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
That was the movie I just made. No, Malignant is a movie about a woman who, in the beginning of the film, you see her, she's being abused by her drunk husband or whatever. I don't know.
Boyfriend, husband, whatever.
And he smashes her head into the wall. She's bleeding. And then you start seeing people dying. Deaths and all kinds of stuff. And she doesn't know what's going on. Spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers. Right away from the first death, I knew there was something up.
Oh, yeah.
Because the way the killer moved, it was looking like it was moving from the back.
Yeah, it was real jerky. Yeah. Almost like claymation or something.
Yeah, but the way its arms and stuff, it moved like it was moving from the back. And then later on, it was super obvious when it was literally walking backwards.
Yeah.
And moving backwards. So, spoilers, we find out our hero is actually had a parasitic twin growing on the back of her head and spine.
Yeah.
Named Gabriel.
Yep. Sure.
And they, when she was younger, she has you find one of the first giveaways was you find out the main character was adopted. And I was like, I knew it. Okay, so because it begins at a hospital, and the woman's like, we have to remove the cancer, this doctor,
right?
And you find out that basically the murderer is her parasitic twin, because her head was cracked against the wall, exposing her teeth. Okay, so the parasitic twin was out of control, and this girl was never going to live a life. So they're Siamese twins, and then there's like parasitic twins. And parasite usually like they're usually not alive.
Well, it's usually not like like
they're usually not they're like they take away from, they almost are like, they literally are like a parasite. They are taking away from the host body. Like it's her body, not their body. I don't know. It's really weird. The movie's bizarre. It reminded me of you ever seen a horror movie with Margaret Kidder in the 70s called Sisters?
Yeah, you told me about that like a year ago.
Yeah, I watched it on HBO Max. I heard about it for years. I watched it. The movie did not age very well. I definitely recommend watching it though. I think it's Brian De Palma. She's great in it.
Yeah.
But man, it didn't age well. It's from like the early 70s. But like you find out there's murders going on, and it's like her Siamese twin.
Yeah. It did remind me, it definitely had a very 70s feel. Even the very beginning, I thought it was, and I still don't understand this part of it. She rolls up to her house driving like a 70s station wagon, and then
the house looks old.
Yeah, and I'm like, is this a plot point? And that never becomes a plot point.
It's the movie. It took place now. They had modern technology.
Yeah, and then there's another thing I didn't understand. It feels to me that they made the movie, and halfway through they're like, wait a minute, we're going to make a different movie, because in the first half, the cops call the sister, the adopted sister, well, the sister.
The blonde who was like one of the actress.
Right. And they're like, she's like, I don't talk to my sister anymore. I didn't know she was pregnant. It's like they hadn't kept in touch at all. And then like the next thing you know, they're best friends. And
they're like together and everything, like nothing happened.
Yeah. And you're like, wait a minute, like this isn't what you said like a half hour ago. So if you're looking for shit like that, as I always do, there's a lot to like kind of, but the camera work is amazing. It's a real fun movie. It's super over the top.
So when it's revealed that Gabriel was this, like he could speak over like radio waves.
Yes. Yeah.
And on the phone and stuff like that. And there's like, they keep showing footage of her talking to Gabriel.
Yeah.
And they also do this thing where this actress, they give her like big 70s hair, kind of.
Yeah.
Almost, that's why it makes me think of like a 70s movie. But that hair is hiding a fucked up face.
Yeah.
So when they show, the sister who, the main character was adopted to, you find out that like Gabriel almost got her to kill the sister when the mom was pregnant with her.
Right.
And once the baby came into the picture, that's when Gabriel supposedly disappeared. And it was almost like you're being so like Gabriel is like this, almost like an imaginary friend, almost like a drop dead Fred, right?
Right. Yeah.
Think of the movie Drop Dead Fred if he was like a malignant parasite. So you find out, she discovers a videotape in the spooky, I love the castle.
Yeah.
Batman building. It looks like something out of the like 80s, like Tim Burton or early 90s Batman movies, like this hospital, like on the edge of a cliff. I'm like, I remember that's like the first shot of the movie. I'm like, who makes this? Like, I know.
And it's like in suburban Seattle. It's like in suburban Seattle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that awesome looking castle-like building on the cliff. That's realistic. Yeah, whatever. It's fine.
It's in the old Capitol Hill neighborhood.
They show her as a kid, and then they do this slow camera behind, and you see the and it's so fucked up. That irked the shit. I mean, it's like on her back, and it's like it's not just a minor thing. I mean, it's huge.
It's
it takes
big.
The whole back, and it's got little fucking quado arms, and it's like.
It looked like the chest burster from Alien almost.
Kind of, yeah. But it's like literally on her head, like the back of her head, and on her back. I was always like, what does her back look like? They don't show you her back. Gotta have like weird fucking scars and shit.
Yeah.
You know? They just like show you like they removed it, and because they shared a brain, they couldn't actually remove him. Or I guess it's a him, right?
Yeah, Gabriel. Yeah.
Usually, like Siamese twins are usually the same. They are the same sex. Like they don't.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not gonna get into this. This is like a medical thing. And it's above my pay grade. And that I make no money from this. But regardless, it's a little fantastical. Also, like this thing has electric powers.
That never really gets fully. There's clearly a supernatural element, but that's never really fully explored.
Say he's the devil.
Yeah.
But so they remove it and they kind of shove him inside her state. They like close up the back. They shove it inside
like a Jack in the Box.
Close up the back of her head, making like a skull. So when you find out basically when the husband or whatever he was smashed her head into the wall, cracking open her skull, basically waking Gabriel up.
Yes.
And then on top of that, you find, which is super fucked up, you find out that Gabriel grew stronger because he was stealing energy away. Like she tried to have kids, and every time she had miscarriages because Gabriel was stealing the energies of babies.
He was eating the fetuses.
Yeah. And that's how he was coming back.
Right.
And like she gets thrown in jail, and there's this like scene where it gets the prisoners, of course, are like fucking with her. It's almost like something out of like American Werewolf.
Yeah.
Or the Hulk or something. Like,
right.
Fuck with me. You're not going to see. And she's not aware what's going on. So Gabriel creates a new reality. When he takes over her body, he creates a reality for her. She thinks she's like somewhere else or whatever. Yeah. And he's creating a reality so that she doesn't know what's going on. And which is what he does. And then he takes over her body again, and she's moving. You see her face as it's moving around.
It's
and it
super
just kills everyone. And also, when Gabriel takes over, the hair just gets like really slimy.
Yeah, it is.
Like, does he take a shower and then she wakes up and she's like,
it's all like super fantastic.
Like when why is the back of my hair so greasy and gross?
Well, and if you notice, every time she wakes up after a murder, like she's got blood all over her pillow and shit, and it's like,
are you kidding? Or
no, if you go back and watch the movie, whenever she wakes up, like after having a bad dream or whatever, there's blood on the pillow. There's blood.
She never like gets the wound treated.
No.
Which doesn't make any sense either, because that would be the first thing I would do.
Right.
Call up.
Well, yeah, and you would imagine. I mean, I don't know. You have to really suspend disbelief a lot in this film.
And then the thing, like, it's super powerful when Gabriel takes her over. It's like super powerful, and it could kill people on a whim. It does all these things, and she kills like a ton of people. She almost killed. Find out that she had. I'm not gonna get more into the plot.
Yeah.
That gets kidnapped, and you find out that's the original mother, who had her at 15.
Yep.
Which, hey, I just want to give an example that it is a known fact that teen pregnancy can lead to more deformities.
Right, of course.
More deformities happen to children born of very young girls. And thanks to Texas's new law, we are now going to be faced with tons and tons of Gabriels.
Malignants. Yeah.
Thanks to more Ted Cruz's out there, more malignants. So this is okay. So I have nothing else to say about it except one thing.
Yeah.
What happens to her in the end?
Yeah, I mean,
she's
clearly.
Like, so he like, there's the main cops. There's like the Wanda Sykes lady.
Yeah.
They couldn't get Wanda Sykes, so they got this
right.
And discount Wanda Sykes. And
right.
Main cop, who's kind of, I guess, had the hots for the sister. I don't
Deemed it, yeah.
Yeah, they get hurt. All the cops get murdered. All the prisoners get murdered.
Yep.
Gabriel kills literally everyone that had to do with removing him initially in the hospital. All the doctors are killed. So a ton of people are murdered. And then the best is in the end. She saves her sister, her adopted sister, by lifting the bed. She's like, well, if Gabriel has this power, then so do I. And okay, so like, what happens to her now? Oh, that wasn't me. That was my parasitic twin growing out of the back of my brain. Like,
yeah, it's
like people are like, oh, I can't wait to see a sequel of this. Like, what would the sequel even be about?
Yeah.
Like, here we go again. And she like, I imprisoned you, Gabriel. Remember, she imprisons him.
Right, and puts him in like a little psychic jail.
He's like, oh, get out! He's so gross looking because he's like just a fucked up mouth and like one anus looking eye. It's like it's like literally like a butthole eye and fucked up teeth.
Yeah, it is messed up. Well, I don't know. I like it.
Like, what do you like? Hey, so we're gonna press charges. Oh no, that wasn't me.
Yeah, clearly she'd go to jail forever. I mean, like
I don't know. How about, if there's one person that should get executed, I'm not for state execution.
Yeah, right.
But and then there's like the supernatural element with electricity.
Yep.
And it's super strong.
Yeah. And it's never resolved. You don't even know if it's Gabriel or her that can do it. To be honest.
It's cool. I don't need to go to jail because I created a mental prison in my
right.
Like, say that in court out loud.
In a way, I'm already doing time if you think about it.
Yeah, technically, Gabriel shares my brain, and I'm in prison. I mean, do I need technically, I think justice has been served.
Well,
I did lift that bed off my adopted sister. I was like thinking about that. I'm like, what happens in the end? I mean, she's got to how does that work?
Yeah. I mean, clearly she'd go to prison. So
there was an SNL skit, like an old one. I'm talking like 70s. I watched it on Nick at Night.
Yeah.
And it was a bad cop show. And Gilda Radner and Jane Curtin, they're playing Siamese twins. And Gilda Radner has her hand on on her sister. They're two heads, right? They're just a two-headed person. And you find out she's holding her sister hostage,
right?
But they're also Siamese twins. And then there's this, that's so stupid. And then it just gets dumber and dumber. Like, we need the Siamese twin priest, and it's like Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi, and there's a huge height deficit. So it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. And they're doing whatever. But in the end of the day, they're like, okay, they arrested the sister.
Yeah.
But that included arresting the victim too. It made me think of that. That I was like, watching, I was like, I know it's not going to work because I saw that skit on Saturday Night Live 35 years ago. And we know. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. It got a lot of people talk about it by now. I think one thing I do like about the movie, I like the whole 80s slasher thing.
Oh yeah, it's got a real good aesthetic.
I like these type of horror movies more than these Conjuring films.
Yeah.
So I welcome it. I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome that the guy who directed Aquaman, movies, all these fucking dude bro this normie movies made a trauma film.
Yeah, basically.
It's awesome that he was able to, doing all this work, he was able to convince the studio to give him money so he can make a movie about a fucking gross parasitic twin girl. He literally, that's awesome. That's it is literally a big budget trauma film.
That's funny.
All right, what's next?
Well, we watched the first. You watched the first three. I watched the first episode of Star Wars Visions.
Okay, so Visions is a show on Disney Plus. I don't really have much to say. It's kind of I remember seeing an advertisement a month ago, or a couple not that long ago. It was an ad, kind of like a Love, Death, and Robots type series. It's all anime, Star Wars anime.
Yep, an anthology of seemingly unconnected stories, all set in the Star Wars universe with an anime aesthetic.
And I saw the first three. You only saw one, so I guess we'll just talk about the first one. The first one is kind of like a samurai one.
Yeah.
It looked like a Kurosawa film.
Yep.
I don't know. I liked it.
I loved it. I thought it was great. It's 15 minutes long. The art was real interesting and good. It was definitely... It was what was advertised. It was a Star Wars film set in an anime aesthetic.
It looked like a Kurosawa film from the 50s that you brought up how characters would just kind of be edited in.
Yeah.
Like a weird, low budget samurai film.
Yep.
And it's interesting too because like it's a known fact that like Lucas would reference Kurosawa a lot.
Yeah.
And there's like, you know, a lot of Japanese culture within, like a lot of design work was taken from that. Like Darth Vader's helmet is like based on samurai helmets and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see that. I mean, the story is like interesting. I like that woman. I guess they're Sith or whatever, but
she is for sure a Sith, and I get the feeling that he was
umbrella. Fan. That was pretty crazy looking.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch all of these. I'd like to talk about it again next week, probably.
Yeah, let's go into more detail. Let's watch them all. And
yeah.
I mean, I don't really have much to say about it. I'm 3 in. Like, let's just finish it, and then we'll talk about it next week. Let's table it, you know?
Yeah.
You know? All right. So, what if was Thor about Thor, and it was what if Thor was Gaston from?
Yeah, basically.
That's kind of what he was.
It was real fun.
It was one of the lighthearted episodes.
Definitely lighthearted. It almost felt like the twist ending was tacked on at the last minute, and with all of them so far, you see, oh, this is how everything's going awful and it's going to be bad. But like with this one, it's like it's just a fun, lighthearted story up until the last minute, and then the watcher's like, oh yeah, and it got fucked up.
Which is like the same thing with if T'Challa was Star-Lord, and it has this happy ending, and then he goes, and he does the same thing again where Ego shows up to Peter Quill, who was not taken into space,
right?
Knowing what would happen. So
this one,
they tack on these dark endings on the more lighthearted episodes.
Yeah. This one had a lot of great cameos. There's a pretty good Howard the Duck storyline.
Yeah, it's so the plot is what if Thor basically was an only child? Like basically, Odin does not when he discovers the frost giant child, he instead of adopting it and making his own son, which is Loki, he returns the child back to the frost giants.
Right.
Therefore, like almost making like there being like peace in the galaxy.
Yeah.
And like so Thor is just this like since he didn't have like Loki to like bounce off of his brother, he kind of almost becomes like a Loki in a way. Even though later on you find out the frost giants, Loki is his true form, a frost giant. Right. But it's almost like they have like a better relationship.
Oh yeah, much. It's like there's no sibling rivalry. The sibling rivalry
for Odin's affection.
Yeah.
So it's like Thor's just this bratty only child. It's kind of funny, and he basically just him and Volstagg and all them, and what's her name, Lady Sif. Yeah,
Sif. Yeah.
They just like fuck off. They go to planets, and the joke is that they're a threat actually because they go to the planets and they just party until the planet's like completely destroyed.
And that makes sense, you know, that like within this story, it's kind of a funny and threatening thing.
Yeah, like it's like the joke is like they just fuck off and everything, and it's this big party atmosphere. But I guess like in this universe, who did Jeff Goldblum play? He played the
not the Collector, the
brother of the Collector. He's part of that group of like elders or something.
The Game Master.
Jeff.
Is it the Game Master?
What does he play? Hold on. I forgot the character's name.
Yeah. I think it's like
Grandmaster.
That's it. Yeah.
So, and him and his like main guard, they're there partying. Yeah, Howard the Duck's there. Again, another episode with Howard the Duck.
Yep.
He was in the Guardians episode. It's really funny. He marries Kat Dennings' character.
Yeah.
Darcy. So
calls her awesome. Mrs. the Duck.
And then he shows up late. Yeah, the whole thing's like really funny. Like Natalie Portman's character is like, it's like similar. It's a similar plot to Thor 1, but instead of Thor. Okay, so like the plot basically begins with like Odin going to his Odin sleep.
Yeah.
And then everyone kind of like, yeah, let's go party now. Odin, and then like his wife, the mom, like goes off to like a lesbian retreat or something. She does every 1,000 years. And she's like, I don't want to be disturbed. I'm gonna hang out with my fellow witches.
Right.
And I threw in the lesbian retreat. She didn't say that on the Disney Plus show.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna go to my lesbian retreat now, Thor.
It was really fun. I mean, it's like it took the best parts of Fun Thor and kind of just went with them.
I like that the Guardians of the Galaxy were there.
Yep. Yeah.
I thought that was funny.
That was
none of it makes good. None of it really makes any sense, but it doesn't.
He's like hanging out with Kree.
Surtur, the fucking big red monster is like hanging out with the Statue of Liberty, burns its arm off. Like,
it's just bizarre. I mean, it's real fun.
Did you like the little Thor? Did you like the Superman 3 reference in the end when he fixes the Leaning Tower?
Oh yeah,
I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
So like the joke is that like things get so chaotic, like when in the beginning Nick Fury shows up, because again it's supposed to be like where Thor 1 was supposed to begin.
Right.
Nick Fury shows up and like I don't know, but then like Korg like runs him over, knocking him out. And then they call up Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel's in this episode, and she like, beats the fucking shit out. But he's like a god, so it like doesn't even affect.
He can take it, yeah.
Right. It just the whole thing is it's a really
fun.
It's really funny.
It's
how
fun.
He looked was funny. Like he looked like it really was like when I was watching. I was like, they should just Thor was Gaston.
Yeah, I liked it.
But it has like a happy ending. I mean, it's definitely worth watching. But in the end, there's like you said, the Watcher comes in and has to throw in like a bad twist in the end. But I feel like this might lead into something. So you see, like Ultron shows up, but he's like his true final form, where he's Vision.
Yeah.
But he also has all the Infinity Stones.
Right.
So you know things are going to be really bad.
Yeah.
It just ends there. But supposedly the rumor is that the last episode of the series is supposed to have like they're gonna bring back all these like Agent Carter.
All right, that'd be great.
Captain Carter, I mean.
Yeah.
This version of Thor, all these characters in the what if are gonna team up in the end. Supposedly that's the rumor, and like maybe that's the Ultron thing is where it's leading. Because you even said each episode, even though they're separate. Each episode, like the Watchers become more evident in each episode. He becomes more part of the show. Like you said, in the first episode, you barely see a glimpse of him. You see a little bit more of him in the next episode. And then by like the third or fourth, he's like now an actual character.
Well, and in this one, he was almost surprised at the ending. Do you know what I mean? Like in all the other previous ones, he's like, oh, and then this shitty thing happened. But with this one, at the end, he's like, oh, and then everything's cool. Oh, wait a minute. And then he seems surprised by Ultron showing up, which is bizarre because like previously he seemed omnipotent, meaning that he knows everything that's happening.
So I'm like, I don't even know if like this takes place in this universe or a different one. Yeah. Because Tony Stark's not in this episode, but he could be like without the Avengers coming into play. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense, actually. I mean, it was a good episode. Again, you could cherry pick it and find all things comes wrong. Like, again, Howard the Duck being in it's just funny.
Yeah.
Like, why are the Guardians of the Galaxy there? Why would they even be a group? It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Nebula's there, like, rolling dice to buy a new eye and stuff. Like,
what?
Nebula was there.
Oh, yeah, Nebula was in it there, too. And she was talking about her dad. But like, joke. Yeah. Again, definitely a fun episode. I definitely want to watch it again.
Yeah.
All right, so we're just gonna end this real quick on this show.
Squid Game.
So there was a show called Squid Games that's on Netflix that just aired. I watched it. You watched it.
Yep.
It's a Korean show. Netflix does a really good job of like dubbing.
Yeah.
Like,
my wife watched like
good, but they do a good job of just making it natural. They've learned to like always in the past dubbing. Dub movies have been bad where like they never match. Not just is it like the voices line up, but also they don't really sound like the environments they're in.
Yeah,
their vocals don't really match up with the scenes, so you don't feel like you're getting a complete thing. But with Netflix, especially with the foreign shows and movies, they've like done a decent job of like making what the English dubbing fit in pretty well with the show.
Yes.
Like it's not 100% perfect, but it's pretty seamless.
It's very good.
So the plot of the show, real quick, it was just basically this down in his luck guy who's just kind of
he's a loser. He
a
has
loser.
No self-control.
He has no self-control. He's a divorced dad. He like goes like OTB, bets on everything. He loses everything. He gets invited to be in this game.
Yep.
Well, some guy in the subway offers him like $100,000, and it's Korean money.
Yeah.
I looked it up. 100,000 Korean is not 100,000.
Sure.
It's a big difference, but regardless, it's still a decent amount of money. And just to play a game, he's like, what? And then he gets invited to this bigger game, and that's when stuff gets super fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah. The basic plot is that they compel people to play children's games, and if you lose the game or if you screw up, you get killed.
Yeah. And then the beginning,
yes,
first game they play is red light, green light, and it starts out with like 440 players or something like that.
Yeah, and within a second they're down to 200.
Yeah, because people had no idea. They didn't realize this simple game was just stop.
And that's really terrifying. Like, to play a high stakes game for your life is obviously very terrifying.
But they're not even made aware of that, right?
No, not initially. Initially they're not. And then but there's something like super humiliating about being made to play a children's game and you might get killed, you know. It reminded me of a bunch of great things like Battle Royale and a little bit of like what else did you say it reminded me of?
Snowpiercer.
Yeah.
You said, like, you mentioned Cube or any of these type of like survival type movies. It's okay, so it's weird because like in the first episode, like, you know, all these people get killed and then they do this vote to like go home. They're looking at the rules of the game, and if everyone votes to like end the game, then people go home. No one's gonna collect the money or anything, but you're not like contractually, you don't have to stay and play. And they do, but then they all get sucked back in.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
And it's got some great twists. I don't want to get into all the twists, but
some of the games are crazy. The tug of war is awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe think of the tug of war from Revenge of the Nerds. A little bit. There's lots of twists. I guess I don't want to spoil too much.
I don't. Yeah,
I think it's worth watching.
I think I've talked to a couple people about this show. No one has heard of it that I know of.
I only heard of it because I saw a trailer like on YouTube pop up, and I saw that it was coming out, and I watched it, and I was like,
it's fun.
Well, it just, you know, because like the games that they play and everything, it's in these like, it's a well-designed show. The show has like,
it's got money. Yeah.
What?
It's got money behind it.
Yeah, this is not a cheap looking show. This is very well done. It's very well filmed. The design on it's really good. Like, that's what I mean, like the children's games and everything. It's like all colorful and it's crazy. And it's violent as hell. Like, it made me think, it's Snowpiercer, the movie, not the stupid show, but the movie. Made me think of that a lot too. And it makes kind of sense. Parasite makes me think of the movie Parasite. I mean, it's a Korean show, not to say that because it's Korean, it's going to be the same as the director who made these movies. It's just, you could see the influence on it, especially with the twists in it. I recommend it.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
I'd say
talk about it again another time, but
I would say give it an episode or two, and if you like it, then you're going to like it. You'll find out very quickly if this is not for you.
Like I said, you'll know if it's right for you right from the beginning. Because it gets super violent. And like I said, you know, it took in the beginning some of the characters, but then they grow on you a lot. And man, that one woman was so annoying. That guy's tattoo sucked with the snake.
Oh yeah. Oh jeez.
It was that one game though, man. The bridge. The last game.
Yeah. Okay. The last game was the Squid Game, right? Like that was.
Which I was like, I don't even understand what this game is. Like,
that was so confusing.
You just had to end up at home, but like, you were just beating the shit out of each other. When the show starts in the beginning, when it show me the little kid, It's the Squid Game.
Right. That's the very first scene they say this is the Squid Game, and it's real confusing. And then eventually that becomes the last game. So
they're like, oh, if you want to forfeit the game, we could just send all the money to the people's loved
survivors. Yeah.
It's like a big conspiracy. It does lead off to another season. Makes me think of Hunger Games, obviously.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, again, it's about like desperation, society, like super fucking wealthy, like playing with the downtrodden people, or people on their luck, or people who just failed in life and are in this desperate. They're all most of these people are in desperate situations.
Right.
And do you ever see that one movie, The Hunt? I think it's on.
Oh no, I didn't. I know which one you're talking about.
Oh, you gotta watch that movie.
Is that streaming?
It's somewhere? On HBO Max.
Right now. I'll look for that.
It was a movie that the right wing went nuts over.
Because they're hunting chuds, basically.
Yeah, but you got to see the movie. It's more than that, and I think that's why they hated. It didn't even make any sense why they hated the movie. But if you watch the movie,
I'll check it out.
You could see why they hated it, because it's not what you think, and I could see why these, like Tim Pool and all these people, hated the movie.
Huh.
It doesn't make. It's not like, oh, these liberals are killing right wingers. Ha ha ha. It's way more than that. It reminded me of that too. So watch The Hunt. Stupid fun movie.
Yeah.
Definitely watch Squid Games. I don't know. I guess maybe next week we'll talk a little more about it.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Spoiler elements. I just think it's worth. I don't really want to go into anymore. We're out of time. I am now 44, so I'm, every day is I need to take advantage of these moments. Like the earth is not. I will not be long. You know what I mean? I have to as you. Like, wait, what does that leave me?
Oh shit.
Leave it on a positive note.
There we go.
Every birthday is just another day closer to.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. All right. Well, on that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.